DJ PK, we are joined now by Darius Lassiter, BYU wide receiver. Darius, good morning.
Good morning.
You still wearing that cape, Superman? We saw you fly in Orlando. That was a heck of a fourth down conversion.
Thank you.
You ever make a play like that before? What got into you right then in that moment? Because it did look like you were just you were going for it, and it turns out you got there.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever had like a crucial just fourth down play, just pure outstrength another person. But it was. I knew it was fourth down, and I knew I had to go get the stick especially because I had got pushed back a little bit after they had made contact. So I was just doing whatever I could to stay up and make a play.
Everybody knows you're 8-0 now, and it seems like the offense has really clicked into gear, and you've been having an outstanding season, and obviously you want to play in the NFL, and I think you're getting attention. But now with this season that has been so incredible with 4 ball games to go, how much do you really not care about individual statistics because this team has an opportunity to do something really incredible?
Yeah, me personally, I know that the stats will come when you just do your job and just stay within the game and not try to force things and just react about why my stats not looking a certain way. And winning's way more fun than just getting your own personal stats. I feel like that's kind of the thing when your team's kind of just 0-9 and you're just trying to do whatever you can to survive at that point. So. I don't feel like nobody on the offense, we might not have the most explosive stats just showing up on paper, but everybody knows that we're 8-0 and we got a good thing going here, and we don't need to jeopardize that by getting selfish.
Right.
That UCF game, I don't know what you expected. At some point, when you looked up at the scoreboard and saw 17-0, were you surprised?
No, not at all, because that's what we expect to do every time we come out. We want to start fast. We don't want to let them get into the groove because they have good players over there, and in the moment they could make a big play, and that could be a spark for them. So we always expect to go in there and just be the hammer first.
How much did you know, if at all, that trick play was coming on the field goal attempt? So get ready to get back out on the field. Did you know about it?
Yeah, we knew about it as soon as I walked out the field after we didn't get that third down that same drive. But they told us to be close by and just in case we might run a fake or not. But it was never for sure yes that we were going to run it. But it was there. They executed it to perfection, and we got to get Will some running back tosses.
Darius Lassiter to join us here. BYU now 8-0. The game did tighten up. That worry you at all, or Chase's big play right before the half and order was restored?
No, not really. It didn't worry us at all because we know that we gonna be the ones that decide how this game goes, and everybody knew that when this offense gets the ball with at least 2 minutes left, that it's a high chance that we will score, and that because we can drive down the field really fast, and that's just something that we practice throughout the week. So not really once 2-minute situations come, that's kind of really Jake Retzlaff's thing.
Downfield blocking is so important for receivers, but you go to practice and you see the guys catching passes, running patterns and stuff. How much time do you actually spend on blocking? Because it is important, and it can take a decent play into a really great play.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time on it because for us, we do a lot of things where we got to go inside the box and help with the run game, and that just only makes this team better when you can get your receivers in there and can push cracking on those safeties and sometimes getting linebackers, and that just opens up run lanes and it makes those 5-yard carries turn into 15.
And maybe a 15 turned into a 50. We haven't seen a big play out of the run game that way. I don't think you have a 30-yard run anywhere on the team yet. You got a bunch of 50-yard plus passes. I think 4 different receivers have made the big play there. So not to turn this into the stats talk, but just the ability to score from anywhere on the field, regardless of the play call, regardless of whether it's a run or pass, seems like that's something that the offense still has to accomplish.
Yeah, we know that if we can score at any part of the field, even if we're backed up, we know that we got plays that could possibly spring us. Even though we're going to be safe and smart in those situations, but we also do have plays where we're going to take risks and challenges, and we're going to attack situations like that.
Have you found now that you're top 10 ranked and go through 2/3 of the season undefeated that you've been getting more attention?
I feel like any time where you can crack the top 10 and your team is still undefeated and going into November, and just us always being underdogs too and just proving people wrong each and every time. I think that just comes with the attention, and I feel like we're handling it pretty well because in our eyes we're always going to still be underdogs.
Nice.
What does A-Rod tell you now? You're 8-0, and with the exception of that SMU game, you guys are good for somewhere between 34 and 41 points every week, like clockwork. So what do you hear from your offensive coordinator?
Just the message we get from him is, yeah, we did a lot of good things, but it's still not even close to where this offense could be when everything is, all 11 players is executing as one, and everybody's just on the same page clicking, and then that's when the offense is fully at its best. I feel like once we had that 400-yard pass and 200 running, I think that's when we can really show what we can be as an offense. But he told us in November that this is where teams either going to break down or step up to the plate, and that's what this offense is going to do, and that's what he's going to continue to do, especially coming up after the bye week.
So you got this bye week, which means obviously no games this weekend. What are you going to do?
Really, same thing I did last bye week. I'll just chill, catch up on some ball, a little schoolwork every now and then, and other than that, just rest, just try to get our bodies back because, we got another Super Bowl opportunity next week.
Are there any teams you like watching? Are there any other receivers or quarterbacks you like watching when you have a chance to really check out what they're doing?
Yeah, I really feel like any team in the Big 12, I like to just sit down and watch because I know there's a lot of good receivers in this conference and things like that. And then if not, really just any kind of ball, really just with good games. I like good games more than the blowout ones. Besides when we're playing them, I'd rather blow people out.
Yeah. You talked about the Big 12. BYU knew it was going to get in the Big 12 a couple years before they got in. So when you were deciding where to go for your final school, you knew that they were in the Big 12, and I'm wondering how much did that factor into your decision to come here?
Yeah, it had a little role in it, just because better competition than playing in the MAC conference, and then my brother was also at Kansas at the time, and I seen that it was gonna be an opportunity for me to play him and us to match up against each other possibly, and I also just wanted to kind of go into a place where not getting a lot of buzz as other schools might have been. And so just wanted to be a place where we can come in and have an instant impact in the Big 12. We didn't really do that last year, but that team was capable. Just a couple of things that didn't go our way, and you kind of see everybody just trusting the process now.
Well, Darius, congratulations on another win. Enjoy the bye week, and next week we'll start talking to you about the rivalry game.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Darius Lassiter, BYU wide receiver, joining us right here on The Zone. I did leave out one big run play. That option they ran to set up the game-winning field goal, 37 yards. That was the big run of the year, and they only went over 30 yards. Can they be a little
to Davis?
Can they be a little more explosive in the run game? You're nitpicking. I can see you there, but at the same
I don't
time,
know if they need to. They need to be effective.
right?
And the last 2 games especially, they've been effective.
I think when you're scoring 34 to 41 points every week, you can't argue with the efficiency. I know there's some short fields in there, some special teams touchdown, but you just don't get to those numbers without being good on offense.
To me, the most important aspect of the run game is manifest in what Bronco used to call the blue zone. Because
your
everything
finishing
is
drives.
truncated.
Right.
And
Harder
they
to throw the
did
ball.
that against UCF, which was extremely effective. That's when you need it the most, when you're in that situation. And look at Utah, stumbling all over the place. And that you can have the greatest drive and the longest drive, but if you're not getting it what you need out of it, it doesn't really matter. So I'm more interested in what do they do in the hard yards, the 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Can they actually use the running game as a weapon to get that first down? Because that makes a big, big difference. And then the closer you get to the goal line.
I always think a 3rd and 4 is passing down. But I get your point. Yeah, can you convert those short yardage situations? Because you can drive and you can rack up a bunch of yards and
you don't even
3
need
points.
to use the run.
As long as it's a threat.
Yeah. If it's completely ignored,
Yeah.
do you know what it's like? Have you ever once actually literally, and Yak has now moved away from the computer because he's very eager to hear what I have to say and there's some level of anxiety. Have you ever once, from a defensive perspective, when they don't have any respect for the run, do you know what it's like literally to pin your ears back? I'm doing it right now. I have the index finger on the left ear, and I am pinning it back. And let me tell you, I just got a shot of anger going through my body now that my ears are pinned back. Or I only have one. I don't want to do 2 right now. I think that would be a little bit too much. No, I mean, you kind of look like the see no evil, hear no evil guy. I'm not sure. Because you have big ears anyway, and very pointy. So to me...
What am I, Spock?
Yeah.
Big pointy ears.
Right.
It's not Christmas time yet. He's not an elf.
How do you know?
I think you've outgrown the elf stage.
I never wear the green.
Is that how you got the albino
When I come
alligators?
yes, it is. As a matter of fact, I was very nice to Santa. He had a few extras.
You are Santa. So you look at what BYU's been able to do running-wise the last 2 games, and I think it's just been incredible.
Maybe with LJ Martin back, we'll see the big run.
Of course you want that, but you need to be effective. You want effectiveness first.
Convert your 3rd and 2 and your 4th and 1.
You take a look at Scatabuya. Now, that's what he's done. He's had some lousy games in terms of you going into the 3rd, middle of the 3rd, early 4th, and he's averaging like 2.4 yards per carry.
And then he breaks a 50-yarder.
Right. And he did that twice against the Utes. You can't take away those plays. It doesn't work that way. But if you look at his total yardage, 97 of them came on 2 runs. And so his yardage looks great. So, yeah, that's important too. And it makes life a whole heck of a lot easier for you. The Devils probably don't beat the Utes without those 2 runs. So
That's what you want, winning plays, right?
Yeah. But that's what
Who
he
cares
does.
what the stats are if he makes winning plays?
He is a freaking military tank, and eventually he wears you down. I don't know how he does it, but it's very impressive. So that's his way of doing it, and he's done it. I've watched him enough, or not watched them, but paid attention. A lot of times I can't see them play when I'm working myself, but I can look at the stats and so forth. And so that's what he does. And it would be helpful if BYU did that, if they ran off, like R.J. Harvey did that, got them back in the game a little bit, at least for a time being, because that guy's really good. Did you know he was recruited by Virginia as a quarterback?
I did not.
Yeah. Popinga had him on when they were in Virginia.
Had him on campus?
Yeah, I mean, I think he went to Virginia, yeah. So obviously Kelly coached with Bronco over there. Mm-hmm. And so that kid can really run. And so that's good too. But then they had no passing game. So there was zero respect for that. That second interception, that what's-his-face threw, it looked like, when you get out on the field and you pick up the ball, you just kind of lob it like 5 or 10 yards to get your arm, just get the feel. That's looked like what that pass was. It was just awful. They had zero threat in the pass game in this day and age. Can you believe that?
That throw to Glasgow just hit him right in the numbers.
But at least that looked like a pass.
It did look like a pass. A wildly errant pass, but a pass nonetheless.
It wasn't just a little lollipop spiel.
Glasgow was back there in the zone, just staring at the quarterback. You throw me that, I'll take it.
Glasgow's your MVP on defense.
Move over, Harrison Taggart.
I mean, those guys are good, but Glasgow has been the biggest surprise to me in the state of Utah this season.
Wow.
Yeah.
The state of Utah.
Yes. As a football player? Yeah. Where was he, Yak, on the big vaunted 60-60 spiel?
I'd have to look that up.
Please do, and get back to
because
us immediately.
He deserves to be top 10, if not top 5. He had a breakout game when I was sitting there in the press box at SMU, and I said to myself, PK?
This kid's having a breakout game.
Watch this young fella, and he has continued it game after freaking game. If he's not all Big 12, I've lost complete and total respect for Brett Yormark.
It's going to be a new because Yormark single-handedly determines that. That will be different. These all-conference teams now when you have 16 teams in a league. When you had 8, 9, and 10 team leagues, your team, if your team won, whoever won the league, could get a bunch of guys on. And now there's so many guys across so many teams. One guy here, two
Yeah, but
guys
this
there.
is not, junior high where everybody gets a straw and a juice and a Twinkie.
That's true, but there's still 16 teams
So
full of
what?
quality players, and there will be good players everywhere.
Okay, and then if there's a tie, you go for winning.
Well,
In your mind, if you're thinking,
in your
hey, I
mind,
got
but that's
two
not the way the
guys
voting
here.
works. Right.
What do you
No,
mean?
I get it as a voter, as an individual voter,
Yeah.
you would think that, but when they tabulate all the ballots, they're not going to break a tie.
Well, there is not a literal tie. I'm talking if you have a quandary within yourself.
Value victories.
Go on the value of winning. And right now, I stand by it. Glasgow, he must be first team all Big 12. Now, they still have 4 ball games to go, so that could change. But right now, he absolutely, I would invalidate anyone's ballot who does not include Isaiah Glasgow. Because he's the Glasgow man. He'll break your flask.
DJ PK, when we come back, everything you missed in this show will get you up to speed next. Stay with us.
The wins just keep on coming for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as BYU keeps their dream season alive.
It's magical. It's spiritual. How can you not be romantic about this game?
As the Cougars look to stay undefeated and make their bid to the college football playoffs.
Happy feet. Downfield. Caught. Broken tackle. Lassiter. Touchdown. Are you kidding me?
The KSL Sports Zone will be with the Cougars every step of the way. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football.
Hey, let's go.
Is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Super unfortunate. We're all here for him. It sucks that we lost, but he's more important than that. And we know how hard he worked the whole summer to be ready for this opportunity. So sure, it feels tough for him, and mentally he's all over the place. But we're going to stay here for him and support him.
Lowry Markkinen on Taylor Hendricks' injury in the aftermath of the loss in Dallas. Jazz lose the game 110-102. The story of the game is third quarter. Taylor Hendricks running down court by himself, no contact. He stops. Something happens. They're on the wide shot on television showing you the whole court. He goes to the ground, and it's clear his foot is pointed in the wrong direction. And they cut to a shot of Will Hardy, and he is just grimacing. You can tell. He just thinks that is nasty. And at that point, the coach is staying out of the way. The medical people are rushing over and doing their thing. He was carted off. As PK put it so succinctly, he'll be out a good long while. Definition of good long while to come, but if it's season ending, no one will be surprised.
That sucks. It sucks every which way, no doubt about it. It's awful. But, I mean, they did acknowledge he'll be okay in the long term. He's young enough that he should be able to recover from this. And it sucks to say because we're only in October to see you next year. And, he's long, athletic, and all that prototype thing here. This is a setback. It's a major setback. I don't think it's a big setback for the team this year.
Agreed.
But for the team's development down the line, it is.
This will mean playing time for somebody else. To your point, it could go to Collins, but it could go to Filipowski.
I want to see him.
It could go to. Does Cody play more?
Yeah,
With positionless basketball, you can't just say, "Well, this guy's out, so this guy's in." You can slide the minutes around, and I immediately thought of David Locke coming on every Friday. You got 240 minutes.
I've heard him say that.
Yeah. So the 25 minutes plus or minus, whatever it is on any given night, is going to somebody else. And so it's somebody else's opportunity. I think the other thing that has to be underlined is that at RSL, they got the playoff game tonight against Minnesota. And so the day before, a lot of the media goes to their training session. And there were a bunch of us there yesterday, and I was looking out and saw Pablo Ruiz is coming off consecutive knee injuries. He's barely played in 14 months now, and by the time he plays next season, it'll be 18, 19 months that he's barely played. But he was they were scrimmaging, and he was in there going full speed. And if you hadn't known something was wrong, you wouldn't have known that he'd been out. And he was obviously bigger. And two of us were talking about that, like that guy. And I asked Pablo, and he says, it's all good weight. It's all good. He says, file under silver lining. He's think ACL, that's terrible. He said the upper body, way, way stronger, which matters, Well,
I think it's to be expected.
To be hoped for? I don't know if it was expected.
Oh, no. I think it's to be for Taylor Hendricks.
Oh, for Taylor Hendricks,
I think it's to be expected.
Yeah. A younger guy, he should be putting on weight. I mean, he looks like he's got a frame that can carry another, I don't know.
I don't
20,
think it's a silver
pounds.
lining for Hendricks. It's part of the process. Now the agenda has changed, unfortunately, no doubt about it. But all is not lost with this young man by any stretch. As somebody said, this is not over. This isn't over by a long shot.
It isn't over till we say it's over.
Yeah. I mean, now you have to, go through the process here, and you're going to take a little bit. But when the time has come to attack the rehab, attack it in the manner that you did over the summer, this past summer, and listening to all the guys talk, that he was doing that. So I'm very optimistic that he will come back at least where he left off, if not better. It stinks. I'm taking nothing away from the injury in the short term because he was one of the kids that we wanted to see develop. Now, he wasn't going to be a finished product this season by any stretch, but he was going to make strides.
Take a step forward.
And I think he, in a sense, he still can. It'll just have to be off the radar. And maybe this just says, man, oh my gosh, I'm getting this game that I love taken away from me. I'm going to be so fired up to do it next year, blah, 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 blah. I mean, wins and losses this year, was he really going to make that big of a difference? And that's taking nothing away from the severity of the situation. I want to make that 100% perfectly clear. But if you look at the team and the objective of the team,
in my mind, no.
Right.
They were going to play a lot of young guys, and they were going to lose a lot of games. They are still going to play a lot of young guys, and they're still going to lose a lot of games. It sucks for his development, but there's a way for him to develop differently while he rehabs.
Yes.
So
there's no question that is, and he will do that, and he will do that well. I think the silver lining, if you're looking for that, I don't think there's really any silver lining for him. But I think the silver lining is guys like Williams, Filipowski, they could get more time. I think that's the silver lining. I think Hendricks, being a pro, is going to just eat this up once he gets over this sucks period and has the surgery and all this, whatever he may need as far as that goes. And once he's cleared to begin the rehab, he will do that at a high level, I believe. That's part of the process. That is the process for him. That's his goal now. His goals have changed dramatically in the span of one day. The silver lining is more PT for some of these other guys that may not have gotten it.
Jazz are 0-3 now. In the race to the bottom, there was a startling development, PK.
Well, I would fire whoever the coach is of Washington these days.
The Washington Wizards have a victory.
I don't know what they were thinking.
They went to Atlanta and beat the Hawks 121-119. Thank you, Quinn Snyder.
I know Trae Young had an awful shooting game.
There are now 2 winless teams in the NBA. The Detroit Pistons are 0-4, and the Utah Jazz are 0-3.
And that bothers me that the Pistons have a game lead.
It's only a half game.
Now, in the loss column, they count it as a game.
It is a full game in the loss column, but it's a half game.
No, but
half game in the standings.
That's not how they count it.
It is.
They count it by losses because you can't make up for losses. So they've got a full game lead on us, and we better make sure we lose to them to get the tiebreaker. Which, of course, that doesn't count anyway.
It's all ping pong balls.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to do it this year. Cooper Flagg, 17 years old. He doesn't turn 18 until December. Just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Gatorade.
You hear the cliche, it's better to be lucky than good. But in this case, what you want to be is bad and lucky.
It's better to be Cooper Flagg than me.
The Dodgers beat the Yankees again. Freddie Freeman went deep again. The Dodgers are up 3-0 after the 4-2 win, and Freddie Freeman is 1 victory away from being the World Series MVP. Feel a little of the drama draining out of this. You got any hope for the Yankees putting some drama into this?
Yeah, you never know. But, yeah.
That's a pretty low bar.
Frederick Charles Freeman, yes, is on the way. That's FCF to you. Yeah. Sort of for the hometown team, Orange County. Close enough. Where he grew up. I saw a thing that in the offseason he was back at his high school doing some stuff for the high school baseball team and all that stuff.
The Steelers beat the Giants 26-18. You have said many times, it's Kansas City and then everybody else. There's your NFL power poll. Kansas City. Everybody else. Amongst the everybody else's, where do you put the Steelers? Bills? Ravens? You can stick to the AFC.
low. I was high on the Bills, then I was low on the Bills, and the
now
Bills
you're high
went.
on them again.
Yeah. I mean, so it's if you will, it's a topsy-turvy season, and then see who is healthy. So the Bills, a dangerous team, very much so. But do I put them? Do they stand out?
Texans? Also 6-2.
I have professed my love for Stroud for 3 years now, and I'm not stopping. But are they ready to take that next step? Do they need some more time? The team that I would say that I have fallen in love with is Detroit.
Over in the NFC.
Yeah.
Looking great.
Yes.
They are 6-1 with no obvious flaws.
It's not a surprise team because they've already broken through that.
Mm-hmm. No, they're backing that up. Like, see, that wasn't a fluke. Look at this.
And I like Campbell. He's a touchy-feely guy. You know, very loving and tender.
Big, tough guy.
Yes.
He actually does have some of that players coach thing going on. I bleep and love you guys.
Right, but he has to throw in the expletive. You don't want to be too soft.
He does.
Even in those situations. Right. You know,
it was a bleeping beautiful game, guys.
Right, you can say you love him, but it has to be done, or love them, but it has to be done in the right way. It's not going to be, where you're going to tear up just yet. No, not at all. I mean, this guy, he's what we call, and you may not understand the definition of this, DJ, but he's what we call a man's man.
Huh?
Yeah.
Frank Dolce, Mike Folta, Darius Lassiter have all joined us to talk Utes, Cougars, and Utah Hockey Club. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can listen to any of them at your convenience. When we come back, your feedback next. Stay with us.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. It's time for your feedback. I just clicked on Twitter, PK, to get some of the feedback from today's show. And the Washington Post columnist, Los Angeles has one win from sweeping the Yankees and securing his second World Series title in 5 years. Just don't call them the best team in baseball.
What does that mean?
That's what I want to get into you. Why wouldn't you? If they have the best record in the regular season, 98 wins, and they do, and then if they win the World Series, which they're one game away from doing, how are they not the best team in baseball?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
The Washington Post, I canceled my subscription the other day.
No, that kid. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball. They just didn't feel like it.
Well, I canceled my LA Times subscription too.
Okay, well, there you go. Just canceling away.
And I would ask you, BYU football fans, are you better now than you were 4 years ago?
Did you keep your New York Times one, though?
You gonna cancel Joel Klatt?
Don't even mention that name.
All right. If you missed that, we hit it briefly today. We'll spend more time on it tomorrow. He doesn't have BYU in his top 10.
I'm appalled.
He's all about the Big Ten.
I would take his vote away.
The Big Ten and the SEC.
I'm all about canceling.
Take his vote away from his own poll.
Doesn't have Iowa State. You can't vote in your own poll, dude. There. I laid down
now been exiled.
the law.
He puts it on social. I happen to know Elon, and I'll see about that.
You're going to get it flagged.
We've had others have been banned. Why not Joel Klatt?
A lot of people commenting on Kyle Whittingham. Kalani says he has a lot of love for the Utah program. Can we expect Kyle Whittingham to return the love?
I think, yes, we can, just not right now. I think that there'll be a time when Kyle runs out with the flag.
Yeah, I don't see it. You think there will be? Seriously?
Why not? They have him light the Y or do the cannon, whatever they do.
Young Coug, no, he's a psychological mess.
How do you figure?
He looks it, doesn't he?
Fox on a retro gaming box. The attitude BYU fans have about Kyle is insanity.
It's flat out disgusting is what it is.
Samuel, being respectful is overrated.
I've always believed that.
He also says Kalani owes his success to Utah as much as Witt owes his to BYU.
Now, that's what Kalani said, that he wouldn't be there without Utah, and Kyle wouldn't be there without BYU.
Obviously, Kyle played there, played for Lavelle, and lists him as a significant influence. He played for his dad there, and his dad's a significant influence.
I think it's
Urban and Ron McBride.
Influences in life, McBride, Urban, Fred Sr., Lavelle, and me.
4 out of 5 are right.
I've taught that man a lot of football.
4 out of 5 are right.
And that's what most dentists recommend.
That's right. We've got this here. This is a whole thing. Why should Kyle be respectful? This narrative is lame. Maybe to tone down the toxicity in the rivalry, one of our listeners says.
Toxicity is one of those tough words to say.
And the third one says, no, we had respectful coaches in the McBride era, and it was still just as toxic.
And it is toxicity. It's like Worcestershire sauce. You're trying to say Worcestershire, and you just kind of stumble along, you know?
One of our family friends he tried to say the word innumerable and really struggled with it. That, for whatever reason, that always cracks me up.
Did you help him?
Not a word that I hear often, but when I do hear it, I always think of that guy. No, I was like 7 years old. And later on,
see, your memory's just amazing.
And later on, my dad was like, that was awkward.
Who remembers anything from 7? I don't.
Oh, you remember stuff about your childhood. You remember
7?
sitting at home, watching the Rose Bowl, thinking, I got to get there, and I can't go outside and play because it's all cold and icy out there.
Yeah, I was 12. Not 7.
7. You don't remember the second grade? You remember being in the dumb class and winning at recess.
Right, but that was like at 6th, and then I realized from first through...
So you don't remember it, you just realized you knew it.
No, I realized it because when we got into 8th grade, they realized that was uncool, and then they just switched us every other one because there was 2 classes. That's when I think by 6th grade, we knew we were stupid. We did. I am
That's
telling
stupid.
you that you don't believe it, but
No,
it's
I
the
do.
truth.
I do believe they did it. I don't believe it means you're stupid.
Okay, but
Do I believe they realized it was wrong? They switched it up. I believe that.
We were stupid.
Oh, I believe that.
What's the difference?
I don't believe you are stupid. That's two different things.
Right, but
Nor do I think
you're
you were
talking
stupid at
now.
that.
I'm a finished
You weren't
product.
stupid then.
Back then, I reveled in stupidity. We all did. We used to laugh about it. We're the idiots, and then we'd go and lunchtime and kick the crap out of them. Yes. Oh, we reveled
Baseball,
in it.
football, basketball. What game do you people want to lose at? Let's go.
I went through 8 years being told at Catholic school that I was in the dumb class. And we knew it. We absolutely, 7 years, because then 8, they switched
changed
it.
it, yeah.
And all of us, we fell way behind because the teachers were too far advanced. We knew we were dumb.
Utah Jazz Ticket Tuesday, caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE wins a pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Spurs Thursday night at the Delta Center. Call right now, 801-575-ZONE. Bob Nightingale, you read his column every Sunday.
What about
Baseball writer. He just tweeted this out. What does a 3-0 lead mean in the World Series history? 21 times it's meant a sweep. 3 times, 5 games. It's never gone 6 or 7. Ever.
I think you kind of lose hope at that point.
Yeah. Cancun.
But now you just got to go out and play.
Yep. What a game.
And whatever happens, happens. Just go out, just go play. That's all you can do at this point, man. You're down 3-0. I didn't think that. Dodgers, money well spent. They got what they paid for.
At Scuttlebutt1, honest question. When was the last time Kyle used the name BYU or Brigham Young University? The difference in class between these coaches couldn't be more stark
it's like a Grand Canyon.
in terms of approach.
But I can tell you that Kalani's experiences at BYU have not been the same as Kyle's at Utah towards the other.
Oh, well, Kalani has been at BYU. It's been really positive with Utah, the way Kyle talks about him when he talks about him and all that. Whereas early in his career, there was a lot of conflict in recruiting with Kyle and Bronco.
And beyond that.
And beyond that.
Stuff that I have been told from the Utah perspective, and it involves the family and some other stuff and worthiness and just stuff that the way they approach it is the same way Max Hall approached it, if that makes sense.
Combatively.
The stuff that was said that got under the skin of Max Hall is the same, different stuff, but
different
the same
stuff,
type.
but it's had the same thing.
Effect
There's been stuff
on-
that's
yes.
got under Witt's skin.
No
and it's stuck
question.
with him, just the way it's stuck with Max.
No question. Yes. So I think if you have that in perspective, and Kalani doesn't have that perspective because it hasn't been that way.
Right.
Nor should it be.
DJ PK, we're out of time. Jake and Ben are next. Stay with us.